About 2.4 billion years ago, the deadliest pollution event in Earth's history wiped out an estimated 99% of all living things. And the toxic gas behind it is the same one keeping you alive right now: oxygen. Rewind to the early Earth, and you wouldn't recognize home. The oceans teemed with microscopic life, but the air was a smothering mix of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and methane, with almost no free oxygen at all. For the bacteria ruling the planet, oxygen wasn't a gift. It was a poison they had never met. Then one tiny organism changed everything. Cyanobacteria figured out how to harness sunlight to make food, the first photosynthesis, and they did it spectacularly well. But every time they fed themselves, they exhaled a waste gas they had no use for: pure oxygen. For hundreds of millions of years, the planet quietly soaked that oxygen up. It bonded with dissolved iron in the seas, raining rust onto the ocean floor in colossal striped layers. We still mine those rust deposits today, the banded iron formations that supply most of the world's steel. And we are not just guessing about any of this. The story is written into stone, those red rust layers, and a sudden chemical fingerprint in ancient minerals that flips right at the boundary, marking the exact moment oxygen took over. Eventually, the ocean's iron ran out, and the oxygen had nowhere left to hide. It started flooding the atmosphere in what scientists call the Great Oxidation event. In geological terms, it was sudden, an invisible tide rising across the entire planet. And for most life on Earth, it was an apocalypse. Oxygen is wildly reactive. To organisms built without defenses, it shredded their cells from the inside out. The vast anaerobic empire that had ruled for over 1 billion years collapsed into the mud. The damage didn't stop there. Oxygen attacked the methane that had been blanketing Earth like a warm greenhouse, and without it, the planet's heat leaked away. Earth froze into one of the longest, deepest ice ages it has ever known, a near total snowball that may have lasted 300 million years. Here's the twist that makes this story so strange. That same poison turned out to be the most powerful fuel life had ever discovered. Burning food with oxygen releases roughly 16 times more energy than the old anaerobic methods. Survivors that learned to breathe oxygen suddenly had an enormous energy budget to spend. That surplus bankrolled bigger, more complex cells than the first multicellular bodies, and eventually animals, brains, and you. Oxygen also built something we rarely thank it for: the ozone layer. High in the sky, oxygen molecules knit into a shield against the sun's harshest radiation, and only then, hundreds of millions of years later, could life finally crawl out of the water onto bare land. So the air filling your lungs right now is the leftover exhaust of an ancient catastrophe. The greatest mass poisoning in history didn't just clear the stage for complex life, it handed that life the energy to exist at all. And there's a quiet lesson hiding in it. Life has rewritten the chemistry of this entire planet before, accidentally and irreversibly. Proof that even the smallest organisms can reshape a whole world. If this changed the way you see your next breath, tell me in the comments. What's a disaster that secretly made you who you are? Subscribe for more stories where the science is stranger than fiction, and I'll see you in the next one.